Now time to turn to sub-national leadership, what exactly it is that is happening across states, beyond the fact that there's so much of noise regarding what the federal government is doing, especially given the magnitude of insecurity we're dealing with as a country. But then, what are the sub-nationals doing? What are the states also bringing to the table in terms of not just only making the difference in the lives of their people, but ensuring that the institutions or even the very idea of democracy itself is continually preserved, especially in light of those electionary campaign promises that were made. And now today, we have governors across all the 36 states. So how do we measure progress? We'll begin from Edo State, which is very peculiar on several levels. First off, that's one of the few states where you have off-cycle election. And then it's also a state that is right in the very heart of the south part of the country. And then it's a gateway state of some kind because of the pivotal role it plays in ensuring that there's a link, or if you like, a bridge between the two ends of our nation, south and of course the north. But then again, it's been 1 year since the Senator Monday Okpebholo government came on stream, and then there have been concerns about what has he done differently, especially for those who want to go political, trying to place his leadership of 1 year side by side the 8 years of his immediate predecessor, Godwin Obaseki. What did Okpebholo tell Edo people that he was going to do for them? What has he done in that regard in the last 1 year, and in what ways does his achievement show or indicate what he will likely do in the next 3 years in the life of this administration? I'm joined by one of his very staunchest supporters, one who has, thrown his weight behind him right from the campaign days, Haruna Braimoh. He's the high chief and a comrade at the same time. Braimoh, thank you for coming on the program. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
Let's talk about electionary campaign. You know, during elections, politicians talk a lot. Somebody even jokingly said politicians would promise that they will install air conditioning on the streets just so they can win votes.
Yeah.
This is no longer politicking. This is not electionary period. The governor is already in the saddle. He's been there for 1 year. He has, give or take, about 3 more years to go, at least in the life of this administration. What can Edo people look at and say, beyond what we see, we cannot have some hope that governance is improving in the real sense of the word?
Yeah, thank you again, and good morning. The last 1 year has actually redefined governance in Edo State in all areas and stratas of government. It has been a 1 year of recovery, Edo for Edo, you know. It has been a 1 year of setting new governance parameters across infrastructure, setting new standards. It's been a 1 year of breaking new grounds. It's been a 1 year of creating new boundaries. And we have a political leadership in Edo State today that is actually making the people realize that democracy as defined is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Because we have a people's governor whose agenda, the Shine agenda, every aspect of the Shine agenda is channeled towards delivering good governance across the stratas, from education to health to agriculture to infrastructure to economy to fiscal prudence, budget implementation. It's not surprising to some of us in Edo to see that some very critical institutions who have over the years scrutinized governance and how governance implement policies and how they utilize government money for people. The institution like budgeting.com could rate Edo today as the 5th state in Nigeria on fiscal prudence when it comes to budget implementation. It did not just mark or allocated funds with mouth and could not implement it. For the first time, we have a government in Edo State. In the history of Edo, I stand to be corrected, from 1991 to date, we we have a government that is allocating more than 70% or around 70% of budgetary allocation to capital expenditure. CapEx is 70, and 30% is just for recurrent expenditure. And it's pushing it. It's not just by providing for it in the budget, and it's using the capital budget to deliver capital activities, capital infrastructures. We have two of the biggest massive projects in the lifetime of this government as at now, which is the two major flyover. And the flyover in Mobile is going to be the longest, apart from a 10 million bridge. It's the longest flyover ever envisaged, constructed, and built by any government in Nigeria. I mean, across the 36 states in Nigeria. It's happening in those states. And it's going to be delivered in the next 3-4 months, first quarter of next year. We're already in December. You know, you talk of a government that is within 1 year is building 250-something kilometers of roads across the 3 senatorial districts.
Simultaneously?
Of course, roads projects that are ongoing. Cumulatively, there are 250-something kilometers. That is unprecedented within 1 year. And some of these roads are being commissioned already. A government that's re-engineered education made us to realize that it's not by pronouncing education policy of where you want to be. A vision without a mission is a totalizing mirage. For the first time, we're having a government that is building a vision on a mission. We had a vision of where they wanted to take those states' education sector to. Everybody was clapping for the vision, to the extent that some states were coming to Edo State to learn about the vision. But when there is lack of sincerity and of purpose in leadership and no mission statement to drive, to deliver, you cannot deliver any education policy without education infrastructure. Today we have a government that has delivered 68 reconstructed, rehabilitated, rebranded, and rebuilt schools across the 3 senatorial districts. You talk about the health sector. Primary health care is pivotal to the general well-being of people in the rural areas. Today, more than 70 primary health cares are being reconstructed. Not just reconstruction. You know, the government administration is so amazing to behold when you get into its activities. Before, we used to talk of building a primary health center, and they would just build it without equipping it. You saw the deputy governor and the visiting, some of the visiting House Committee, Federal House Committee on Health that came to Edo State, when they were visiting some primary health center in Ofia. You saw how health center is being equipped. In the government administration, you built health center and you equipped it with necessary health infrastructure. It's not to build and abandon. You just commission it that you have built a health center. In the next few years, it gets dilapidated because there are no infrastructure. It did not stop there. Inside the health sector, as it's building the infrastructure, it's building the capital, the human capital need to man this, and then he embarked on 2,000 workers recruitment, which has never happened. That's why I said it's breaking ground and setting boundaries, breaking new grounds, which has never happened. Graduates are now going to be manning institutions of government, health institutions of government in rural areas. They are being paid well on minimum wage. Do you know what that will make them? It will reduce the problem of urbanization. It will stop rural-urban drift. You understand? In a rural area where you have access to basic amenities like health, education, pipe water, good roads, in the rural area, what is going to be taking you to the city? It will now improve the microeconomy of the rural area. That's the rural economy we're talking about, which on the long run contribute to the macro, which is being galvanized at the federal level. That is how states should work. It did not stop there. You take it to agriculture. It became, in agriculture, it set a revolutionary standard. From 4 billion provision in the budget in 2000 by his predecessor, it took the budgetary for allocation for agriculture to 70 billion. Vision. But what is the mission? We are seeing the mission today. Implementing the budget, putting his money where his mouth is. You can no longer say, oh, he budgeted 70 billion, but we don't have tractors, we don't have implements, we don't have farming tools.
You saw him. More than 50 tractors were launched. Bulldozers, payloaders, to be carrying those things across. And the funny part, the good thing is, before now, the 8 years of the former administration, they could not deliver one tractor as far as agriculture is concerned.
But they say every government has its focus, so maybe they had other focal areas.
No. Where are the other focus? I'm talking of what drives economy is the general focus of any government.
Totally agreed.
You understand? And what drives this economy? Food production and sustainability. Is it not part of agriculture? Food sufficiency. Is it not part of agriculture? How do you drive a beautiful government that cannot be able to create a pathway for the people to feed themselves? Or you cannot create a policy that will make farmers to. In Edo State today, the government did not stop and say, I'm providing this and providing that for the agriculture alone. He got himself involved by partnering with cooperatives and say, let's open 3 mega farms. From 2016 to 2023, that is 8 years. We only heard of a mega farm that consumed 23 billion but could not Sobe farm. But they could not harvest a maize from it. But you saw what is going on. 9,000 hectares of land across, 3,000 across the 3 sectoral districts. You saw the one in Uwesa. Harvest is already going on. And do you know the agricultural value chain that is going to create?
But let's talk about, I mean, there are several things you've talked about in one, and these are all very sterling achievements, at least giving your own narrative. But let's talk
about... It's not my narrative. Am I going to talk of, talking about the balance sheet of the states.
How good is that looking?
Of course, inherited a total debt of more than 700 billion.
And we blame that on the past government.
I'm not blaming. How he's be able to manage it is why we should praise him now. He did not say you are the one that caused it. Out of that money, about 230 billion was owed to contractors. He did not drive any contractor away.
Were those projects delivered?
Never. They were all ongoing. Even with questionable ongoing. Because you will release, you will make a project 60%. But in reality, the project is 30% completion. And you don't pay them. So he inherited all those. He's not complaining. Yet he's be able to manage that debt. How many states in Nigeria today can boast of reducing their foreign debt? Governor Mondo administration is the only administration in Nigeria to across any state. Quote me, I start to be corrected. Maybe Lagos that will say that they've reduced 44.7, about $40-something million has been reduced from our foreign debt. More than 30 billion naira has been reduced from domestic debt. Domestic debt, which include the bonds. That he inherited.
But there's another area I want to talk to you about, which is very, very key in leadership. Of course, it's the role of government to do this. Security. From the news we're hearing almost every other week, insecurity in those states appears to have spiked, for example, and we see people calling on the governors to say, do more. I mean, this is not just the opposition front now. Isn't that a minus for the government of Senator Mohammed?
Depends on the prison you are looking at it from.
Kidnapping, for example.
I said depending on the prison. When you said, isn't that a minus? You know, when you weigh what is the role of governments, is to provide security
for lives and property. Right.
What level of insecurity do you have in Edo State? The level of insecurity in Edo State is stratified from kidnapping to regular criminalities, robbery. You talk about courtesan and ritual killings. These were all what he inherited at one of the highest level. But so far, across this 4 levels of insecurity, what has the government been able to do? These are the questions. Totally in Edo State today, you know the issue of courtesy has reduced drastically. You first of all fought it institutionally. Edo State is the only state in Nigeria today that have created a law that makes it 21 years or life imprisonment for you to be caught involving in courteous killing or courteous activities. And where even those who directly or indirectly harbor such people, which has put the responsibility on house owners
To report
not just report,
suspected.
to do due diligence before you give your house to people. Because you stand the chance of losing the properties of this kidnap, wherever they are holding meeting or whatever, which also involved kidnapping, and it was not limited to Curtis.
But there's the allegation that the governor also politicized that.
Excuse me, that is not. I just talk about a legal framework, a law. You don't politicize the law. The law is implemented by another. The state legislators is to make the law. The executive is to activate it and implement the law. The judiciary is to interpret it. The law is there. It's not a policy pronouncement. That is for that phase. And we have seen drastic reduction in that area. Then you come to the general issue of S-men and farmers because a crisis. Edo State is not exempted from any other state that has been facing that over the years. It's on record that the former administration passed a law against open grazing, even before Tinubu just talked about banning of open grazing. Do you know that it's already illegal in Edo State? But did they have the ball to implement it?
What does it take to implement it?
Exactly. Which is what Obaseki do. First of all, you have to equip the security outfit. He has realized that, okay, the conventional security outfit in Edo State, which is the police, the soldier, every security base in Edo State, do they have the necessary manpower and equipment? First of all, the manpower is needed. We create the Edo Security Corps. Where at least more than 1,000 or 2,000 have been recruited. First approach. Across communities. Partner with traditional rulers. He has had different security summits where they are partnered with traditional rulers also. Then started giving them the necessary vehicular equipment and other security support. It's on record. You saw how many bikes he has released on 2 or 3 tranches, 300, 100 bikes, because these are the special bikes you need to penetrate the forest where these criminals are hiding. And a lot of results. You watch, the only challenge with Nigeria is we are good at showcasing the negative. When it results, because every time I go on EBS platform, ITV platform, you see different criminals, different kidnapping syndicate being busted.
Courtesy of efforts by the state government.
By the state government. But when a particular one, a kidnap activity happened, it goes viral. But when the government make progress in 3 aspects, it does not go viral on the media.
So who do you blame that on?
It is the psyche of us. It's Nigeria for you. You understand?
Are the handlers of the governor doing their bit as well?
It's beyond, yeah, that is another question for another day. But generally in Nigeria, we like promoting the negative aspect. I know how many people in abroad, in diaspora, have been sharing the good work, the results. From my villages, people have lost their houses who have been involved in kidnapping and court killings. All the way. Do you know how many kilometers? It takes 2 hours from Benin to my village. Yet the governor will lead squads. Do you know how many in Uromi? Today we are having some big activities. Hotels are springing up in Uromi. Companies are springing up. If there was no security, would all this one be happening? Yes, we are not there yet. But yes, we are not where we used to be when it came to power.
Good. Well, when you talk about where we should be...
you remember there was a comb operation between Ososo and Okpela.
Right.
Where 72, I repeat, 72 Fulani kidnappers and S-men were arrested and so were eliminated. How did it go viral?
What was their crime?
Kidnappers in the bush. The bush was combed by joint security after the killing of the 8 civil defense.
Right.
The governor have to come in, empower them, support them. Both the joint security operation is both the kinetic and the non-kinetic approach is using it.
Now let's talk about something else that's a bit more political. It will appear there's hardly a 24-hour cycle without the governor or those within the government talking about Obaseki, and some people say is a political ploy to distract Edo people from the real issues. Why do we still have to talk about a man who left office a little bit?
No, it's not any. There's no ploy in any way. Nobody is distracting you because Edo is on the trajectory of progress.
So can we not have closure to the Obaseki factor?
There's no closure to a recurring decimal negatively. Listen to let me rephrase, reoccurring decimal.
So every other time there's an issue about the former governor that pops up.
Excuse me. It's like you now taking over from me in the office. And any attempt for you to move forward on a particular file, there is need to look at where was the position of the file before you came in, isn't it?
Right. And
if you check that position before you take decision, and you see questions arises. For example, the issues of the press, the press code, the Okomo, and all those people. If we just agree here that the responsibility of government is to protect life and properties.
Right.
If the people whose land were collected and were never compensated cries to you, will you tell them you were not the governor when the thing happened? No, isn't it? So in an attempt to find solution to then you have to revisit the issue. And as you are revisiting it, the proverbial tortoise will rear its head, which is Obaseki. Because no story complete without a tortoise. So that is just what is happening. Nobody is after him. The government is focused than any other. You see a lot of projects going on. Federal roads be taken over in February this year. Governor Mondo Bello went to the presidency to take over, to apply to take over Benin Sapele Road. You see the massive progress that is on that road. Are we talking about the Ekpoma, the Benin Aochi Road? While palliative measures are being taken place, the major spot, the Ekpoma township part that was so dilapidated, today is wearing a new look. I was there, during the first year anniversary with Shegun Sobumi, the PDP, the former spokesperson of Atiku.
Right.
He has to commend. These are the oppositions, big wigs, commending the effort of Governor Monday Okpebolo.
But we have heard the governor call for unequivocally call for the repatriation or extradition of former governor Godwin Obaseki. What necessitated such a
lot? I just told you one now. For example, from the asset verification report, it is seen and written that every land collected from the communities, and hitherto, because you told the community that you were collecting these lands for investors, and the community are happy that investors are coming to Edo State to invest. 17 palm oil investors. You drafted a beautiful proposal and went to the federal government of late President Muhammadu Buhari, may so rest in peace. And he gave approval for CBN to create an investment window of 69 billion. Who is 69 billion? And a part of this, your proposal has a platform for palm oil, smallholder palm oil farmers to stratify the palm oil industry. But what did you do? You started from the hybrid. In your proposal, you said you were going to leverage on the existing big players, leverage on their strategy. How did they get to that level? People like Presco Oil, Okomo Oil. Leverage is to understudy them. It's not to go there and be invested there. You are giving more land to existing multinationals.
So priorities were misplaced.
Of course. And you neglected the real people. And even those you brought, nobody is telling you that the idea is bad. But the process of implementing the ideas, after 8 years, no result across every MOUs. And there are problems that the governor now need to attend to. Will you not say they should not mention your name? It's not possible. 111 million naira, 111, I'm on air, was paid for each acres of land by these investors.
How many
109,000 hectares. And yet, some of these communities are crying that they were never compensated. Which account did you lose the money? And under the exclusive zone or contiguous zone in the analysis of oil discovery, the law in Nigeria, it was discovered that some parts, about 20 hectares, contain natural resources.
So who is exploiting those natural resources?
No, it's just that exploitation has not started.
But it's been established that they are there. So the
government needs to recover those lands. This is no longer about giving land to somebody to expand on palm oil.
It's beyond that.
Of course, is it not obvious to not discover that about 20 hectares of the land you allocated to somebody had natural mineral resources like crude oil and coal? And you know what that means? So the governor is very, very intelligent and administratively taxed. They need to implement the law.
Okay, let's begin to wrap
So
up.
this is not about him at all. What of the Okroma people that their land, you collected their land, even ongoing buildings, you claim them, you demolish them, and that you were giving to a private, you wanted to build a Kora city. Nobody's against your Kora city idea. These people have paid for land. They have, some of them had CFOs.
Issued by the government.
Issued by this government, either your government or previous government. So when you want to take somebody's land, you
Standard
compensate
practice,
under
due
the Land
process.
Use Act of 1978 decree and 1999 Act. Compensation is part of it. Land is a critical factor of production that nobody joke with.
All right, I think there's so much to unbundle within this conversation, but I want us to wrap up now by looking at perception of the governor and the government, and I'll create a context real quick. We're seeing issues that have popped up recently that don't tell well of the government, and by extension, of course, the governor himself, the principal, right? The most recent being a certain Kelly Okubo, popularly called Abel Stone, who is reported to have beaten or assaulted a female journalist attached to the First Lady of Edo State, the wife of the governor of Edo State. And that issue has created a lot of controversy.
The wife of the governor,
Office of
the First Lady.
The First Lady, I should say.
Office of the First Lady.
Right. That the issue was so nasty and it has rubbed off on the government. Some persons have even erroneously, I must say, because I know he's not an aide of the governor, referred to him as Governor Pevolo's aide and things like that. Does that not show that the governor needs to do a lot of work in how his image is perceived out there?
Yeah, you know, in a political situation or in a situation where we play politics with everything, you know, a lot of things will definitely be read out of context. It's on record. I want to make it clear that Governor Mondo is not, is a very disciplined man who is very gender sensitive. Even the government is gender sensitive.
Right.
Even to the plight of the disabled. Even a few days ago, he was present having a dialogue with International Disability Day.
Right.
He made provision for them. He's driving an inclusive government. So, and coincidentally, the International Women's Day. So, it's not in any way connected with this. Whatever happened is being investigated.
Right.
You know, because nobody has provided a video to show what actually happened. But nobody has also said the government is not fully in hand to downplay it. You know, even the EBS MD have come on air to say
to intervene as well.
Even the NUJ in Edo State have also intervened.
By the way, I saw a picture of the chairman of the NUJ, Dr. Festus Aleke.
Everybody is trying to. So let's look at how so that the truth will come out. You know, even the Kelly himself.
Whom we understand has apologized to.
You know, I understand, though I have not read a formal
apology from him
to that effect. You understand? So, but it's not related with what Edo State stand for. Okay. Thank God it's clear that it's not an aide of Edo State. Maybe a zealous APC member. You understand?
All right.
That is where it ends.
I think that's the much we can talk about now, because the governor still has there are about 3 years to go, and Miss you and I, God willing, will have a lot of time to talk about this.
Yeah, a lot. After 3 years, we'll be talking of talk back.
Okay, well, let's get to that point. I'd like to say a big thank you to you for taking our time to join us this morning. We appreciate it. All right, let's take a quick break now, everyone. Shortly, we'll wrap up the show for you. Do stay with us.